Hey BookTube, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel, The Book Bag. Today I'm going to be doing my December bullet journal setup. So this month I have a kind of Christmas theme going on, so the two tarot cards that I chose are related to that. The first one that we have is the King of Coins, who is supposed to represent a good host, a figure of security, a hospitable person, someone who inspires enterprise in others, and experience has yielded wisdom. So I thought that was kind of like Santa Claus, you know, older, wiser, hospitable, he's bringing you presents. I don't know. These cards are getting harder and harder every time. I'm trying not to do repeats. But the second card I have here is the Six of Wands, and that represents a much needed respite, a chance to connect with friends, and a temporary break. So that's kind of like the holiday season. Christmas is supposed to be a time to gather with friends and family, and it's just a nice time for a break most of the time. So those are the two cards that I chose, and without further ado, let's get into the journaling. So because I celebrate Christmas and December is when Christmas happens, I have a little package, a kind of like a wrapped gift for the cover of my December setup. So I took some extra wrapping paper that I had left over after wrapping Christmas presents. I know I'm super early this year, which is great. And I just cut it out so it would fit on the page, crinkled it up a little bit, and glued it down. And it took a surprising amount of glue to hold it down. I thought it would be a lot easier, but I had to go over it quite a few times to get it to stick. And then I took some of my craft paper and cut out a little tag so I could write December on that, and then I crinkled that up as well. Then I used my fine liner to just outline the wrapping paper, give it kind of a little, I don't know, homemade sort of look. Drew some little ribbons on there, and then I used a red fine liner to draw more of the ribbon, make it stand out a little bit better, make it look more Christmassy. I glued down the little craft paper tag there. I used my red fine liner to draw out a little bow as well. And I'm using my brush pen to write out December in cursive writing. And 2021. And then I just used a couple of my metallic jelly roll pens in gold and silver to do a nice little border. So I just did a dot, I think every 3 dots or so around the outside, and then used the silver jelly roll pen to draw some little snowflakes just to add a little bit more interest to the page, because it was cute, but there's a lot of like empty white space. So this filled it up and made it look a little bit more festive. And then on my next page I have my sleep tracker as always. Same thing as every other month. Got the dates down the left side, and then got hours from 8 p.m. to 12 noon the next day written out, just in case my sleep schedule gets super funky and I end up taking a nap or staying up way too late or something. And then I have the columns for the hours and for the amount of energy on the right hand side. And then I just fill in all the numbers, and it takes so long and gives me like a little bit of a hand cramp to do this, but it's also kind of soothing, you know? It's nice and repetitive, and I can watch shows and stuff and not think too hard about writing. The washi tape that I chose for this month is this really shiny metallic gold one. Just thought it looked kind of festive as well, reminded me of like that silver and gold song from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I watch it like every year. We used to watch it Christmas Eve before we go to bed. It's a tradition in my family. I also wrote out the calendar on the cover page because I still felt like it was a little empty, had a lot of white space, and then I forgot that of course I have started doing these calendars spreads on the following page, and had to quickly mock that up again because I had started laying out my weekly spreads in pencil, so I had to go back and write out the calendar in pencil so that I could then trace it in pen, which was a little bit of a hassle, but this seems to happen pretty much every other month that I set up my bullet journal. I forget that I'm doing these monthly spreads now, and I just have the idea for the weekly spreads, draw them out in pencil, and then when I go to film, I'm like, oh shoot. And I end up taking like 20 minutes to draw out the calendar and make sure all the dates line up and everything. But the monthly spreads are super useful, and I do really enjoy having them. I just wish that preparation brain Sarah would remember that I do them and create less work for myself. Once I erased all the pencil lines, I went in with a Tombow dual brush pen marker and colored in where I'm going to write the days of the week in this nice light green color. And then instead of my normal black fine liner, I actually used my red fine liner to write in the days of the weeks, just to make it more Christmassy because I thought the green looked a little too much like spring without the red to complement it, but this looks a little bit more like the Christmas colors. And then I just went in and wrote all of the dates on the squares there, making sure to like triple check my phone that I had the right dates. Don't want to have to redraw the calendar again like I did a few months ago. And on the right hand side I have my little to-do list. I also use my brush pen to write December 2021. Not in handwriting this time because I want it to take up more space, so I use these like big block letters. Then I also use some of my colored fine liners to draw a little Christmas tree. I took inspiration from some post on Pinterest, as I always do, and I saw this cute little Christmas tree doodle, and I was like, I can draw that. I can't draw much, but this is mostly just shapes, and I can do that. So I went and drew this cute little Christmas tree. It's got a little garland around it. I also used my red fine liner to make the to-do list header into like a little candy cane stripe. Once again, just to add a little bit more color to the pages. Then for my weekly spreads, I took inspiration from the little tag I had made for the cover page and made each day of the week into a little tag. This way I still had lots of room to write all the things. It was still basically just like those horizontal rectangles that I draw half the time, but it also had a little bit more interest and was like a little bit more on theme, if you will. After I finished drawing out all the tags, I went back, put in all the dates and all the days of the week on the top line there, and I thought it still looked a little bit boring almost, so I went back with my metallic Jelly Roll pens again and colored every other dot gold and then every other dot silver. You can see me struggling trying to keep the pages from touching each other so that the ink wouldn't transfer because these things take quite a while to dry, but that didn't end up working very well, and I do have little dots that transferred over from the page, but that's okay. Anyways, this is the full look through of my December bullet journal. It's super cute, pretty simple, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time.